Hey there, I'm Kelly Norton, the AZ Realty Lady, and I've heard of a lot of people making the move away from other areas in the country and trying to decide if they're going to pick Salt Lake City or Phoenix. So in today's video, I'm going to break down a lot of the similarities and many of the huge differences between Phoenix, Arizona and Salt Lake City, Utah. So hang tight, this is going to be action-packed, filled with a lot of information, so let's get after it right now. Hi, I'm Kelly Norton, your AZ Realty Lady at eXp Realty. Count on me for all things Arizona real estate. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kelly Norton, and I'm known as the AZ Realty Lady. I'm a Valley native, born and raised right here in the Phoenix area, and I'm a real estate agent of over 20 years right here in the Valley. So I help people that look to relocate to or within the Phoenix and surrounding areas, including all of the suburbs, Gilbert, Santan Valley, Tempe, Chandler, Buckeye, you name it, I can help you. So today's video is about the differences between Salt Lake City, Utah and Phoenix, Arizona, and kind of a little bit of the surrounding areas as well. Because let's be real, if you're living in one area, oftentimes you'll go and drive places on a weekend or for vacation that are really close by. So this is meant to be an informative video. If you're thinking about moving to either location, hopefully this will help give you some insight and make that decision a little bit easier for you. And whether you decide to move to the Phoenix area or the Salt Lake City area, I would love to be your resource. Comment here and let me know if you have any questions. And if you need a real estate agent, of course, in Phoenix area, I would love to be able to help you. So my team would take great care of you. And in Salt Lake City, I have an amazing agent that I refer all of my business to. So again, comment here and I'd be happy to connect you. Or you can text or call me because that's the best way to reach me. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the similarities between the two first. So some of the similarities are, let's start with the first one, taxes. So that's important when people are thinking about moving. So taxes are pretty similar. The school's taxes are paid for in your property taxes in both areas. And if you had a 2,500 square foot home in Salt Lake and a 2,500 square foot home in Phoenix, right now, those taxes are running you about $3,200, $3,300 a year in both areas. So give or take $100, but your taxes are pretty similar for your property taxes and what's charged in them. All right, so next one is going to be outdoor activity. So both areas are really well known for having a lot of outdoor activities. So in Phoenix, you'll hike, people bike, they ride mountain bikes. They take their razors and their toys out. They go boating. I know people think, hey, you're a desert. Where do you boat at? Well, we have a lot of great lakes here. And we have Lake Pleasant, which is in Peoria, right outside of Phoenix. We have Saguaro and Bartlett. We also have Roosevelt Lake. And there's a bunch of other little smaller lakes that are not too far from the Phoenix area. And there's all of those outdoor activities in Utah as well and in Salt Lake City. So both are very well known for outdoor activity. Another thing that's very similar between the two, and you may or may not know this, but they're both deserts. So of course everyone knows Arizona and Phoenix as being a desert. But did you know that Salt Lake City is actually a high desert as well? So they're both desert. And they just have different climates. So obviously Salt Lake being higher in elevation, it's gonna have different weather. And we will talk about that on the differences. Another similarity is that they both have major colleges. So in Arizona, your three major colleges are of course ASU, U of A, and then Northern Arizona University. And then there's also University of Phoenix. And then in Salt Lake City and in Utah, you have BYU, Brigham Young University, you have University of Utah, and then you have Utah State University, and then you have Westminster as well. So both states, both areas have a lot of major college options. Another major similarity is military presence in both Salt Lake City and the Phoenix area. Just right outside of Phoenix is Luke Air Force Base. So it's not uncommon to be seeing the jets flying over, hear the jets, and also pre-COVID, they did have events out at the Air Force Base for people to go and check out the jets, and they had air shows, and so it's really exciting. And in Salt Lake City, in the desert outside of Salt Lake City, I believe, is the Dugway Proving Grounds, and this is a military testing center. So both areas do have that presence, so that, in my opinion, is awesome. So both Salt Lake and Phoenix have amazing world wonders right in the backyard. So in state, couple hours away or right around the corner, just depends where you are. So in Arizona, of course, the Grand Canyon. So amazing. It's only about 3.5 hours, 4 hours from Phoenix, and a lot of people will make an Airbnb trip out of it. And on the way back, they'll stop and check out Sedona. In Arizona, you also have Antelope Canyon and Monument Valley, and I'll go ahead and list a whole bunch more here for you as well. So in Salt Lake City, you have a lot of world wonders as well. So let's go ahead and list those here. But to mention a couple, you have Zion, you have the Great Salt Lake. And a lot of people think that you can go and boat and hang out in the lake. And I've heard that it's kind of stinky. And I guess they do get like brine shrimp from that. And it's not really a lake that you can swim in. It's the salt concentration is too high. So that's something to just definitely be aware of. But we'll go ahead and list a lot more of the natural wonders that Utah has to enjoy if you decide to live there. And remember, these states are pretty close. So a lot of people from Arizona will go to Utah and visit. And then people from Utah can come to Arizona to visit. So the states are so close that even though one may have more than the other, you can go and visit the other state. We'll let you in, okay? We'll let you in. So another similarity is going to be hunting. A lot of people don't think of Phoenix as being somewhere that you can hunt, but you actually do have hunting just a couple hours away. So it'd be a major difference from Salt Lake, because Salt Lake, you could probably go right outside, drive out and find your hunting right there. And there's trophy hunting that goes on there. But unfortunately in Phoenix, you do have to take a little drive. You can do quail hunting. They do have that locally in the desert. But otherwise, if you want to go hunt for elk or deer or turkey, you're gonna have to go up into the mountains about 2 hours away. Okay, so let's talk about guns. And everyone thinks of Phoenix and Arizona as being the Wild West and cowboys and everything else. But you know what? Utah's laws on weapons are very similar to that of Arizona. So let's talk about that. So in Phoenix, you can have a concealed carry permit at the age of 21. In Salt Lake, it's 18 years old you can have a concealed carry. So both states are, I would say, pro-gun states, and both states do have the ability to conceal carry, but Salt Lake City is 18 and Phoenix is 21. Another similarity in both Salt Lake City and Phoenix is going to be they both have a light rail, so that public transportation. So I know it's definitely getting better in Phoenix and they're trying to add to it. Still, I don't think it's the greatest, but it's certainly, a lot better than it used to be. And I think Salt Lake is pretty much right there. They have a light rail in their downtown area as well. In both Salt Lake and Phoenix, your shopping is pretty similar. You both have big malls. They both have Costco's, Walmart's, Targets. So you do have all of those as well. But in Salt Lake, the large outdoor mall, I think it's called City Creek, it actually is closed fully on Sundays because I believe that land it's on is owned by the Mormon Church. So they do have the stipulation there that is not to be operated on a Sunday. Another similarity is that both have a lot of tech companies, both Salt Lake City and Phoenix. So of course in Chandler and in Phoenix, you've got Intel. We also have the Taiwan Semiconductor that's being built in Phoenix. And you know what else? And this goes high on my priority list, but they both have Amazon plants. So if you're looking for same day delivery, both Salt Lake City and Phoenix, you can get same day delivery on your Amazon packages. Now, Phoenix has had this for several years now, but I think that Salt Lake just got this back in the end of 2021. So that's something that they're all probably still just super excited about. And in Phoenix, now we see it as an absolute necessity in life because we got spoiled with this several years ago. But if you come from a place where you have to wait a while to get your packages, well, here you just order it up and you can have it the same day. Sometimes I'll order something in the morning and it's showing up in 3 to 7 hours from when I ordered it, which is phenomenal. All right, so let's talk about the differences. Again, you might be thinking to yourself, should I move to Phoenix, Arizona or Salt Lake City, Utah? Well, here are a bunch of differences between the two areas that will hopefully help you make a decision that's best for you and your family. All right, so let's start with one of the biggest differences, which is going to be how that state is just very conservative with their rules and even dress attire. So we'll start with dress attire. So my friends that live in Utah say that most of the time everyone has like shoulders covered, and tank tops aren't really something that you see people wearing a lot of. It's really a lot more conservatively dressed. You wear things below your knees. Where in Arizona, you'll find people wearing tank tops and sometimes midriff crop tops and skirts and shorts, and not shorts that go to your knees either. You know, some people may call them booty shorts, but but yeah, there's short shorts that you'll find here too. So just not quite as conservative here when it comes to how you dress. So it's warm here. A lot of people love being outside. It's amazing weather. So wear tank tops, shorts, skirts, dresses. It's all allowed here. Little summer dresses, spaghetti strap summer dresses. Those are awesome. People wear those. So you won't really be hassled here for wearing anything like that. So another one of the main differences is going to be the restrictions on alcohol. So in Arizona, you can go into a Circle K, you can go into your grocery store, you can go to a liquor store, and you can buy whatever alcohol you want to buy and whatever concentration you want to buy. You can also order a drink in a restaurant without ordering any food. You can go into a bar and order a drink. And it doesn't matter if it's beer or wine or hard liquor. And in Salt Lake City, that's very different. So you can't get anything that's hard alcohol at your grocery store. The state has over 100 state-run liquor stores that you could go and purchase your hard alcohol. And oh, by the way, they now consider White Claws hard alcohol. So that's going to be found in the state liquor store. From my friends that live there, it sounds like those were able to be sold in the grocery store, and now they're putting them back into the state-run liquor store. So yep, White Claws considered hard alcohol. So right there, that is something that you want to keep in mind. It also sounds like the strength of the beer that is sold in the grocery store has to be under 5%. So you won't get any of those real specialty beers that might have a higher concentration. Also, there is no alcohol sales on Sundays in Salt Lake City, and in Arizona, Phoenix, you can definitely still buy alcohol. I think the stores open at 8 a.m. That you can start purchasing on a Sunday. I know when I was younger, it used to be 10 a.m. or noon, but I think it's 8 a.m. now. So in a Phoenix bar, there's some bars that will have regulated pours on the bottles, but for the most part, a bartender is allowed to just free pour. So they can just free pour right into your glass, no problem, and just kind of gauge it or pour it into a shot glass and then dump it into the drink. Now in Salt Lake City, you're not going to get that. They're all going to have regulated pours. It's actually against the law there for them to not use the regulators. So they have to measure those pours. All right, another restriction, and some people this may matter and others it won't, but there's no state lottery. There's no gambling whatsoever in Salt Lake City. And in Phoenix, we do have the lottery. There's the Powerball. You also have Mega Millions. There's a lot of different lotteries that you can play. And we have a lot of casinos. So Within Phoenix, I would say within a 30-minute drive from Phoenix, there's at least 6 or 7 major casinos. For the most part, these casinos are found on tribal land, so Indian land, and they're just huge facilities. A lot of them, especially like in Scottsdale, there's big hotels there now and big businesses. So it actually brings a lot of business to the area. So in Phoenix, you will definitely find gambling and lottery, and that's a difference between the two. Salt Lake City, sorry guys, you can't win the lottery there. Another difference is that on Sundays in Salt Lake City, no youth sports. So in Phoenix, there are some clubs that do have sports on Sundays, but in Salt Lake, you won't find that. Another difference in youth sports in Salt Lake City is that lacrosse is huge. Now, lacrosse does exist here in Phoenix, obviously. A lot of the schools have it, but it's not like the number one type sports. But a lot of your youth sports do have lacrosse. The schools have lacrosse. It's huge out in Salt Lake City, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's one major difference between the two areas, is lacrosse is huge in Salt Lake City. I think another major difference, and I'll be very careful how I say this because there's a lot of people out there that like to sue over fair housing, so I'm not going to get into specifics because real estate agents have to be very careful about what we say. But in Salt Lake City, when people think of that area, they really think of one religion being the majority. And in Phoenix and surrounding areas, we definitely have a diversity of different religions. So if that's something that's important to you, definitely look it up. And I'm sure in Salt Lake City, there's a lot of different religions, but when people hear of that area, they really think of primarily a majority being of one particular religion. So again, look it up, make your decision for yourself, but that's definitely something to consider. Okay, so let's talk about climate. All right, so one of the main differences in Phoenix, Arizona and Salt Lake City is going to be the weather. So in Phoenix in the summer, yes, it can get over 100 degrees. We don't have humidity, but we have air conditioning absolutely everywhere. And in Salt Lake City in the summer, it's gonna be more like our winter weather. So 70 degrees, 80 degrees, and sometimes even cooler than that. But in the winter here, you're not going to need to shovel snow, and you're not going to be freezing your butt off in 20-degree weather if you want to go walk your dog or hike. So here, our average temperature is in the 60s in the winter. So now don't let people scare you about our weather here in Phoenix, because if you like the outdoors, a lot of people think that you can't be outdoors in the summer, and it's just not true. You just go earlier. So it gets sunny here at 5 a.m. in Phoenix in the summer. So you'll see people out on the hiking trails, and you can get your outdoor activity in, your walks with your dog. Just do it early in the morning. So sometime between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m., it's still gonna be perfectly fine for you to be outside and get your exercise in. Yeah, we have 2 months out of the year that are really hot, but the rest of the year, you can do whatever you want. Outside, inside, it's really flexible. And I know Salt Lake City has great weather as well. Me personally, I would prefer the heat over the cold any day. I don't ever wanna have to shovel snow, but we can drive 2 hours and be at ski resorts. And if we want to go to the Utah ski resorts, we can just make a trip out of it and go there as well. So there's a lot of people that go to our ski resorts that we have here in Arizona, which is Sunrise Ski Resort, that's out in Show Low, Arizona. And then we also have the Snow Bowl, which is in Flagstaff, only 2 hours away, and the Sunrise is only 3 hours away from Phoenix. So very close, very convenient. You can still get there. You can still see the snow. So another major difference is Salt Lake City kind of lacks those major sports. So in Arizona versus Utah, there's a big difference. We have a lot of major sports teams. So in Utah, you have the Utah Jazz, and in Phoenix, we have the Suns. So we have the Phoenix Suns. Go Suns, they're doing awesome. Anyhow, so we have these major sports teams that you can follow, and a lot of people really rally around our sports teams. We also have the Arizona Cardinals. We also have Major League Baseball, so we have the Arizona Diamondbacks, and don't forget that we have spring training. So just 30 minutes anywhere from Phoenix and outside of Phoenix, you can go to spring training games all over the place. So we do have, and they're throughout the state really, we have spring training. So that's amazing, and it has a huge draw for people coming to the Valley as well. So another difference between the two is going to be no daylight savings in Arizona. So we follow mountain time, but we never change. So for me, I love it. It's easy. My time stays the same. Y'all need to figure out what time it is for your time, because me, I'm never changing. So, but in Utah, they do change. So that is one of the main differences as well. No daylight savings in Arizona. We're just Arizona time. Another difference is that Arizona and Scottsdale, which is right next to Phoenix, literally 1 mile away from this spot that I'm going to tell you about, is Phoenix. So there's only 3 locations of this company in the United States, and one of them is in Scottsdale bordering Phoenix, and that's the Mayo Clinic. So this is really, really amazing that we have this right in our backyard. So the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale, it's 1 mile from Phoenix. And this has just been amazing. It helps a lot of people, and we're one of the 3 states that has this right here in our backyard. And unfortunately in Salt Lake City, they do not have the Mayo Clinic. One of the differences I think between Salt Lake City and the Phoenix area is the concentration of 55 plus communities that we have in Phoenix. So we have what they call active adult communities, retirement communities, 55 and plus. They're all the same. They're just age restricted communities, and so you can only live there if you're 55 and up, and you can have an adult child living with you, but I think most of those are either 21 or 25 and up that the CC in our state, and you can have one adult child living with you. And I've heard of different communities having different rules with that, so you'd certainly want to check. But that is something to be aware that, you know, Salt Lake City does have some active adult communities, but Phoenix definitely has a lot more. Phoenix and the suburbs, just a lot more active adult communities, really popular place for retirement. And while we're talking about those communities, there are a ton of communities within the Phoenix area that actually have water. And a lot of people think, well, Phoenix is so dry, how can they have water? A lot of the communities have like fishing lakes or lakes, and they're catch and release lakes. They're not lakes that you can fish or you can eat out of, but catch and release lakes. And there's even a couple communities where you can actually have your either your pontoon or battery powered boat. There's 1 or 2 communities that I think you can actually have wakeboards and speedboats, and they have it regulated on, you know, you put out your flag, and then when it's your turn, you go around and do like a loop or 2, and then you wait for your turn again. So there's a couple of those lake communities as well, but almost all of the active adult communities have some type of lake or water features within the communities. So it's pretty common here. And there's even some big communities like Ventana Lakes, Val Vista Lakes. I mean, there's communities that have just gorgeous. Most of the homes are on the lake and on the water. And in Salt Lake City, I know that there's 1 or 2 communities that offer that, but you have far more in the Phoenix area that you can get a community with like a waterfront lot. So in Phoenix and in Arizona, marijuana is legal for medicinal purposes and recreational purposes. Salt Lake City, you cannot have marijuana for recreational purposes, but I believe you can have for some medicinal purposes in Salt Lake City. So let's talk about some of the real estate differences. So number 1, you're going to find a lot more basement homes in Salt Lake City than you're going to find in Phoenix, Arizona. But one of the main differences there is with basements, also there comes radon gas potential. So in Salt Lake City, radon gas can be a problem. So there are those radon mitigation systems in a lot of the homes there. In Phoenix, it's not something that you see very often. Can you have radon gas? Absolutely. It could be there, but it's very rare. You don't see it as much. You go up into Flagstaff, up in the mountains, or you have a home right on a mountain, then you're probably, you know, at higher risk of having it. And I can definitely help you with how to look into that and get that investigated before you purchase. Now, another thing to think of is that Phoenix doesn't have a lot of basements, but we do have some. So there are some communities that do have the basements. So just because it's not something we're well known for doesn't mean we don't have them. They're just few and far between, but they do exist. Now, in homes in Salt Lake City, you're not going to see as many pools. So last year in Salt Lake City, 3% of the home sales had swimming pools. And did you know that homes in Phoenix, Arizona, 35% of homes have a backyard swimming pool? And swimming pools are a pretty competitive business in Phoenix. There's a lot of swimming pool companies. So you can build a pool a lot more affordably than you could in Salt Lake City. So in Salt Lake City, I've heard from my friends there that it's gonna be easily $100,000 if you wanna put in a basic pool. Where in Phoenix, you could get a basic pool in that 40 grand kind of price range. So that's another really big difference when you're thinking about buying a home. Also, homes in Utah, the average seems to be a bit bigger. The average home size there, around 3,000. Your average home size in Phoenix is gonna be over 2,000. So just a little bit different size. I think your average lot size there is gonna be more towards like a quarter acre, where your average lot size in Phoenix is gonna probably be about 7,000 square foot. Now, keep in mind, if you're buying a newer home, your lot size is probably gonna be smaller. Now, are there half acre and acre lots? Yeah, there definitely are. You just have a higher price bracket that you'd probably be in for those homes. So Phoenix and Salt Lake definitely have similar price points, but there is a little bit of a difference in that average. So in Salt Lake City, in March 2022, the average sales price for all properties, condos, patio homes, townhomes, single family detached, was over 600,000. And in the Phoenix market, that same average for townhomes, condos, houses in March of 2022 was 551 for the average. Now in the Phoenix market, you can still get homes in that 350, 400. It's just gonna be in some of the outlying suburb areas, but you can definitely still get in that affordable price range. If you're in more of a luxury price point, we do have luxury homes as well that go, well over 2, 3, 4 million in some of the areas as well. A lot of my clients will come from states where panhandling or homelessness or transients are really prevalent. And one of the things about Arizona and Phoenix in general is we have a little bit more than we used to in past years, but it's still not that bad. There is a concentration in downtown Phoenix where there's a lot of the homeless community kind of in one area near the shelters. And it's not uncommon at freeway exits to see a little bit of panhandling going on. I've also heard that a lot of people in Salt Lake talk about that's one thing that they don't like, is that there is a lot of a high level of homelessness there. So that's something that's important to you. Just do some research on each area. I know that you pretty much have it everywhere, but depending on what area you're looking at living, there may be just a slighter higher elevation of that than in other areas. So I think Salt Lake City or Phoenix are definitely beautiful places to live. So hopefully that sheds some light on some of the similarities and differences between Phoenix and Salt Lake City. So if you're looking to make that move to either areas, remember, I'd be happy to help you in Phoenix. Just text me or call me. And if you're looking in Salt Lake City, I do have an amazing agent in that area that I would love to put you in contact with. So comment here or call me or text me. It is the best way to reach me. And don't forget, please like the video and go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click the bell. That way you'll be notified when I put up new videos. So until next time, guys, take care.